A pleasant good morning to all local to global. Cool Breeze is here, and Jackie Vibes from Jackie Vibes Radio. Good morning, Toronto. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Jackie Vibes, Kelvin Huggins, to Jackie Vibes broadcast facilities on the Cool Breeze Experience Show in Toronto. My name is Curtis Anthony. Welcome. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you. We are going to talk about your evolution, your vision, your mission of your music. Cool Breeze is here to chronicle the vibe and magnify your brilliance. An honor to have you on the show, Jackie.
Yes, good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. Today, we're going to bring the unsung, the unrecognized, the unparalleled, the uncompromised Jackie Vibes, the story of Jackie Vibes Radio. Biosynopsis and commentary is provided by Kelvin Huggins and Anthony Hills, aka Jackie Vibes and Cool Breeze. Before we get into the insights and analysis of what the music is all about, welcome, and how are you, or how is life?
Oh, I'm good, you know. With the pandemic, everything is okay.
Yes.
I'm feeling fine.
Right.
You know.
Everything is good.
Yeah, everything is good.
What is a normal day for you outside of music?
Well, just being home there, relaxing, you know. I like the kitchen.
Yes.
So I will turn, like back home as we would say, turn the pot.
And you know, Trinis, we Americans, we'll get into that later in the show. You know, Trinis love to cook. They love to turn the hand, as we call it. Yes, sir. Take a few minutes, if you would. Talk about the childhood and where you grew up.
Okay. I'm from, there's a southern side of the city, Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad. It's a place called Indian Walk.
Right.
It's on the Murga Road.
Right.
The Murga Road, it stretches 4 miles.
Right.
So I would say I am at the first quarter of the Murga Road.
Okay.
The street that I'm from is called Fort George.
Right, right.
I was born and bred in Fort George.
Nice. I came from the same area, just a mile north of you. Same strip, Indian Walk, Moruga Road, via Princestown.
Yep.
All American country. We'll get into that later. Where did your love and passion come from, and how did that morph into Jackie Vibes Radio?
Right. Well, it started from an early age.
Right.
My older brother, Fitzroy Huggins,
Right.
he started into the DJing business.
Right.
At that time, he went by the name of Uprising.
Okay.
Just hearing him DJ,
Right.
I grew the passion
Okay.
for music.
Nice.
Then I went in to the service,
Right.
Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Right.
At an early age, I went and did some training.
Right.
My passion for the music even grew further by here listening to the police band.
Right.
Then I team up with my brother with the same Uprising. So I fall under Uprising, but my DJ sobriquet, I go by DJ Jackie.
Nice, nice, nice. And we come from an area with a lot of DJs that sprang out of the region in the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Now, give us a brief, sorry. How did your radio dreams come about and the Bobby Hamilton connection? Tell us about that.
You see, I'm laughing. It's not funny, it's very serious. No, I migrated to Canada a couple of years ago, and I started in the music scene up here also.
Right.
I started DJing up here under the same sobriquet, DJ Jackie.
Right.
Then I heard about Mr. Curtis Hills, the Cool Breeze,
Check it.
doing his stuff down at Radio Regent.
Right.
I connected with him one day, and through Mr. Bobby Hamilton, I called him Julian.
Right.
And I decided at that point, you know, after listening to him on Radio Regent, that Jackie, you can do something similar to Radio Regent and try to incorporate Mr. Curtis Hills, the Cool Breeze.
Wow.
I'm laughing again. It's a long story. We couldn't make it short.
Right, right.
So I started Jackie Vibes. I at that time was using a free broadcasting system.
Right.
which wasn't, I'm not going to call the name because it was free.
Right.
I always had a lot of glitches and stuff with it until a friend of mine turned me over to a guy who does it professionally. So that's why I went in. I was a novice into broadcasting.
Right.
Mr. Bobby Hamilton, I spoke to him because I know he knew Curtis well.
Right.
And I didn't have a number where I could contact him.
Right.
And after speaking to Julian Hamilton, he gave me Curtis' number.
Okay.
Again, I listened to Curtis on Radio Region. Our conversation lasted probably about 5 minutes.
Right.
After I called him and I told him what is my intention, what is my dream, and he said he's on board. I told him right away, you are the man that I'm going to put to run the station, because I'm a novice. I'm not going to pretend that I'm known.
Right.
And he had agreed, and we went off from there. No questions, nothing else further.
Well, when I got the call a couple of years ago, 7:30 in the morning on my way to work, I haven't seen Jackie for about 30 years. So that's in 1984, something like that. Anyways, and the guy was living in the backyard of me for a minute, which I didn't know. So that's one thing. I knew we were a family just before I left Trinidad, the Huggins family. We'll get into that later on. And I got the call. I thought it was a crank call. I said, I'm not in the mood for jokes, I'm saying to myself, or April Fool Day. But then when I see Jackie serious like a heart attack, I said, perhaps we're in something. I said, Jackie, let's connect. Let's sit down on the drawing board and see what needs to get done, because I have experience doing technical side at the university radio station, and 4 or 5 years down at Radio Regent with DVD and all that kind of stuff. I had my own show down there. And I said, Jackie, be careful what you get yourself into, because I'm a crazy man with music. I will take you deep into the cosmos. He said, Breeze, you do what you got to do, and we never look back.
I never look back.
Yes. So, what makes Jackie Vibes so unique from other radio stations?
Right. Now, one of my vision is that I am not going to follow or copy pattern anyone.
Right.
Jackie Vibes must be distinct and different to all other radio stations, whether it is on the FM band or we are streaming.
Right.
So back to your question, why it is so different. The type of music and the type of broadcaster that we have. When I say we, I'm talking about Mr. Cool Breeze also. I call him the Professor Cool Breeze. The type of music that we put out to you, the fans, the listeners out there, is no other station, whether on the FM or on streaming, you will hear that and this type of music.
Amen to that. Now, I understand. Tell the friends how you incorporated the 3 channels on Jackie Vibe and that 3-channel piece.
Right, yeah. So we started with Channel 1. At the time, Breeze would come down to my studio. I lived in the west end of the city. He would come down to my studio. He started in the summer. And this guy is very, very devoted. In the winter, like I said, I live down in the west end and it's close down to the lake shore. So I would tend to get more snow than what he would have up in the city. And Breeze would come down, Mr. Curtis, I would say.
You could drop the mister. You could drop the mister. Thank you.
He would come down in the winter and down on my end, the snow would be up to your knees. And he would come down there on a Friday night, sometimes on a Saturday, to do his show. And I'm saying, the show that he was doing, we didn't have enough space for me to do my show on Channel 1, and then for him to do his show. So I spoke to him again and I said, Curtis, what about if I get a separate channel where then you will be totally in control of to promote the independent artists? And he said, oh, Jackie, you sure you want to? I say, of course, once you are willing. So from Channel 1, we grew to Channel 3.
Right.
You see, I didn't talk about Channel 2. Channel 2
Tell us.
is now dedicated to live broadcast on site.
Right.
So if I have to do an event, I use Channel 2 to do the live broadcast, while Channel 1 is still functional and running on Channel 3.
I want to point something out there, Jackie. In the event of COVID, a lot of stations who have big budgets and technology and all that kind of stuff did not have remote broadcast. This is what your advantage.
Yes,
Tell them a bit about that.
Oh, well, I don't want to be boastful.
No.
But I listened to several streaming channels,
Right.
and none of those guys had remote broadcaster. Remote broadcasting means where the DJ, the broadcaster, don't have to come in to Jackie Vibe's studio. We have it set up remotely where they stay at their own residence, at their own place. And what we call in the technical term, where I plug them into the main studio. So that sent us one or couple steps higher than some of the other broadcasting stations,
Right.
because we were one of the few stations that does it remotely.
Right. Now, where is Jackie Vibes located and the hours of operation?
Okay, we are located in Mississauga. That's the west end of the city. The address is 30265 North Service Road. That's the home base for Jackie Vibes Radio.
Right. Channel 3 is based in Toronto, Eglinton Avenue at Glenholm, Cool Breeze. That's where I am. And Jackie Vibes Radio, embracing 15 genres of music of quality on 2 channels. This is tremendous versatility for a radio station. It's very rare these days, plus the remote. How does that enhance Jackie Vibes Radio, man?
It enhance it greatly, because we also have DJs that broadcast remotely from Europe. We are trying to link up with some Chinese guys. You know, we are, Breeze and myself, we are in conversation with those broadcasters out there. We are worldwide. We are 48 countries strong.
Yes. You have to this date, in 2 years, you have 28,000 fans, 38 states, 340 cities between Canada and the US, 16 broadcasters. This is an extraordinary feat in such a small space of time. Jackie, our cultural footprint is significant in what we made in the world, man. That's progress.
And just for 2 years.
Yeah. That is a lot of work had been put in the background.
Yeah.
Musicians and fans who know us, they can tell you about what that. So, how did Cool Breeze impact your development as a radio station owner?
Okay, like I said before, I had no knowledge in radioing, as per se. I am a DJ,
right?
And I could remember my first show. Curtis was there. And he said, Jackie, you are good as a DJ. No, we need to work. And I'm not embarrassed to say, no, we need to work on your broadcasting skills. So behind the scene, Curtis took me to a room and taught me how to become a broadcaster.
Right.
So I say all thanks to him. Shake his hand.
Thank you, sir.
So I am now, to myself, I'm a broadcaster
/
and a DJ.
Yeah. Yes, amazing, multi-versatile. And we promised Jackie Vibes 2.5 years ago, we're going to take the station, the most dynamic, best radio station on the planet, man. Wow! People are talking about it. People call me and they say they were on Spotify and the one you pay. You know the name. Fans know the one you pay for. They said, how come we are paying for this radio station monthly fee, we're not getting the quality music, and Jackie Vibe, we're getting this free 24 hours on 2 channels. They said they have to drop their subscription. I said, wow, that is unbelievable. Now, Jackie Vibes Radio, some of the staff, tell us about the staff you have on Channel 1, Jackie.
Okay, on Channel 1, like I said, I'm broadcaster, DJ. I go by DJ Jackie. We have DJ Prince. His sobriquet, the Fireball Bacchanal Master.
Okay.
We had, I shouldn't say had. You know, we have DJ Brian out of Trinidad.
Okay.
And Tobago. We have DJ Sniper.
Right.
He's from St. Vincent, but he lives in Canada. We have DJ Matthew,
Right.
he operates out of the UK.
Right.
You know, there's so many
Oh, yeah, but yes, this is great. Channel 3, we have 11 broadcasts.
Oh, you can.
We have the incomparable DVD. We have Lady Funkalicious, 2 of the best female voices in this country, and we're getting a third one, Elaine, Ghetto Stories, coming to Jackie Vibes sometime in October. We have King Dread out of New York, Thunderclap. We have Paul Mason from the UK, Frank Tweed from the UK, Mr. Melodic from New York, Dr. Mambo from New York, Marcus O'Connell from the UK, Ronnie Fresh is on Channel 1, David R. Webb and Trent Darby with Super Soul Sister, with the Dayton Scene. Incredible, the best talk show with music. We had Richie Rich, who brought Afrobeat to Jackie Vibes Radio. We still have his show on the network, and his pictures is still there, Richie Rich. And the channel has grown exponentially throughout the global digital domain. And that is special. That is an incredible feat. Jackie Vibes Radio is promoting independent artists, local to global, what no other radio station does, and that's helping the independent artists, because normally they won't get a break with the big radio station because it's all about payola and big money and all the politics, and we're not into that. We have a rich, real, organic structure here that the people love, because when I was assigned to Jackie Vibes Radio, the first thing we're doing is bless the radio station with a prayer.
Yeah.
Then we bring that love of community, unity, respect for one another, helping us to grow as broadcasters and musicians and fans. So Jackie Vibes Radio is one of the few stations where a person can hear their music, hear the songbite, call in and hear a voice. It doesn't get any better than that, Jackie.
Yeah.
I said, I was going to help make this radio station as creative as humanly possible, that we stand out into the cosmos. Yeah. Here we are, and I don't want to boast, because Japan, Britain, and Canada has the bulk of the American music, and a chunk of it is played on Jackie Vibe. Jackie Vibe has the files. DVD have huge vaults of this stuff, and myself. And I told the thing about Jackie Vibes that stand out is the creative freedom of expression to communicate our ideas and magnify the artist's brilliance locally and globally. It is extraordinary. Americans in the house. And we incorporate gospel channel.
Yes.
He has soca, reggae, blue-eyed soul, chutney. And man, the list just goes on and on. And the story of the Americans is a nice touch, because we are descendants from the Americans. And just give them a light touch what the Americans is all about.
Okay. The Americans were slaves that came to the Caribbean, and it is a long history, so I'm going to chop it in pieces, because I don't want to say some stuff and some people come back at me and say, oh, you missed all this.
Yeah.
So there were slaves that came to the West Indies, the Caribbean, ended up
where were they from?
Africa.
Well, they came from the
States.
Yeah.
When I say from Africa and through the United States, then to the Caribbean. Like I said, it's a long history, and it's a very rich history.
Correct.
Now, by me going into details with the American, I need to have that booklet.
Yes. And you and I went to school at the same school, your brothers and sisters and I I would be remiss not to mention this in the interview. Indian War Government School.
Oh, a landmark.
Oh, the impact the school had for the American children is incredible. Academics, sports, march past, the quality teachers and principals. And I'm putting together a yearbook, which nobody thought about. I started this 2 years ago, because how could we have such a rich history in our region and people just talk about it, but you have no
document,
nothing electronically or by paper. So I'm working on that. and I send it to Trinidad to my school friends so they could add stuff, and then we formalize, put things together. So I understand you have a board of directors. Tell the fans about that.
Yeah, well, we don't want to get into details because it's something that I'm still working on.
Gotcha.
You know, we are still working on that, but something that just came to mind, again, not drifting you from your point.
No problem.
Jackie Vibes Radio is a lawful radio station, and it's a business. We are registered in Canada here. We have the copyright license in Canada. We also get a copyright license from cut to the Caribbean. So we are a legitimate and lawful radio station. It's a business, JackieVibesRadio.com. It's a lawful streaming broadcasting unit.
Jackie, is there extra gratification in you going into the cosmos with Jackie Vibes Radio? Where do you go from here growing this brand?
Well, as we say, the cosmos is the limit. And I think we're almost there.
Well said, yes. Did you ever envision after 2 years that your station would have such an incredible impact on the global music scene?
No. And one of the things that it always dawned onto me, I was in one grocery, and I'm not going to call the grocery name here. I was in one grocery and I heard some guys, they're talking about Jackie Vibes Radio. So I walked up and I tried to get in the conversation, even though they were talking about Jackie Vibes Radio and they did not know me.
Right.
So I asked the guy, I said, what about Jackie Vibes Radio? He said, oh, that's a great radio station. I said, but do you know Jackie Vibes, or do you know the owner of Jackie Vibes? And he said, yes, I know. I said, well, how can I contact Jackie Vibes? He said, give me your number and I will have Jackie call you. And I looked at him and I smiled and I walked off because the guy actually was talking to Jackie Vibes.
Sneaky bugger. Yes, Jackie, man. The dream of ours to reach the masses. Rely on supporters for donations. Thank you, fans, friends, and family, for your support for the past 2 years. We are dream makers, visionary, progenitors of great music. Old school radio is back. Community radio is back. Where there is the love of an artist, they can hear a song being played, hear the sound bite, call in, hear their voice, get it. It doesn't get any better than that. There is transparency and inclusiveness to the artists and promoters. The Jackie Vibes Radio is a special radio network, and amen to that. Where can fans find you on social media platforms?
Okay, so we are on Facebook. Goes by my correct name. My name is Kelvin Huggins. So you can follow me on my page. We are also creating a page for Jackie Vibes Radio. So very soon we're going to have a page for Jackie Vibes Radio, and we're also on Instagram. We're also on some other social media, which I know you would inform the fans of also.
Yes. I am on a social media platform. You could look for Anthony Hills Cool Breeze on Facebook. You find me on Twitter. You find me on Instagram. You find me on Blogspot, YouTube. I try to utilize every channel to help push the radio station forward. And Jackie Vibes Radio, fans, hear me carefully. Hear me good. Jackie Vibes Radio is the voice of the people in the heart of a struggle. Ring the bell.
Oh, I didn't walk it.
Ring the bell, brother. Resistance. Rest in peace. Ring the bell, brother. Yeah. So Cool Breeze would like to thank some of the fans who inspired me to do this radio stuff over the years. Bobby Hamilton, David R. Webb, Tambo Fortune, Kelvin Plenty Pepper Wright, Tina Dunkley, Lloyd Kerr, Miss Elsa Wright, that's Mother Wright, Diva D, Sandra Hakim, Benjamin Scarcelli, Jackie Vibes, Cats in the USA, Uncle Cleveland Hills, Jack Benny in Trinidad, Junior Cokes, Emperor Fuzzy, DJ Charlo, Dave, Noel the Wexford Wolverine, Winky Flight, Daryl Gibbs, and the Americans people in Indian Walk, Maruga Road via Princestown. I just want to point out to the fans, the love that I left Trinidad and Tobago 46 years ago. I still have it in my heart. I don't know anything else. That deep country love, what I brought to Jackie Vibes Radio, and I hope that stays with me till I die. Jackie, tell the fans about some of the American books that they can purchase or get in touch with us for.
Yeah, there's one, as a saga of companies written by Mr. Boise Huggins. I think there are 3 copies of that American book. You mentioned Mr. Lloyd Kerr. There's a American movement or organization in Indian Walk.
Right.
We are going to have them on the station where we're going to be doing a live interview also.
Right. Right. So some of the books that's pertaining to the Americans, if you want to know about the history of the American soldier Marines who came to Trinidad and developed the southern end of the country, that's our roots 200 years ago. The saga of the company, like Jackie says, 2 among many. Americans, The Forgotten War of 1812 by Tina Dunkley, The Eternal Enemy, Slaves, Soldiers and Saints. He Had the Power, Panisa. The Americans free black American settlers in Trinidad, 1815 to 1816. Land Tenure and Social Mobility in the Company Villages, 1812 to present. These books give a comprehensive analysis of the Americans, Merikans, it's spelled, or they spell it Merikens, Americans. The A was dropped by the African Americans when they came to Trinidad. Fans come and tune into Jackie Vibes Radio 24/7 on 2 channels, man. Jackie, man, you got music coming out of your blood vessel, your bloodstream, man. I love it, man.
Yes, and it's one of the only stations where at the home base on Channel 1, we carry also live video. Yes, you heard it right. Yes, we carry the audio and we also carry live video on Channel 1. That would also be incorporated in Channel 3, where we would have the live video.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. Jackie, man, I'm so proud of you, man, of your vision and your mission and your purpose with music. And the thing when I brought to the radio, the station, I say I'm bringing purpose, policy, passion and fun into the broadcast.
Yes.
You know, and before we tune out, I said we had to give the fans the evolution, the revolution of the radio station. This is so vital because people wonder, how is this started? You just wake up one morning and you hear good music. Well, how, why, which, how? They want to know this, and this is going to help us. And before we close, Jackie, any shout out to anybody? I know I want to send a shout out to Joe Mansami.
Yes. Oh, well, that's a guy, but he's a guy behind the scenes, so I don't want to get inside. But that's the guy behind the scene. All big up to Pennsylvania,
yes.
And keep all enough respect to him. We respect all DJs, we respect all broadcasters. Right now, I'm going to take the opportunity to invite any upcoming DJ or broadcasters. If you want to be part of the Jackie Vibes crew, there are numbers where you can call. You can either call me. The numbers will be given out just before we close off, or you could contact Mr. Hills.
Right.
We operate as one. So if you don't get me and you get Mr. Hills, what he tell you, then he's going to pass it on to me.
Right.
We don't do anything through the back door.
Right.
So if you spoke to Mr. Hills, remember the same thing that he told you. You come to me, I'm going to tell you the same thing.
Right. A big shout out to Cecil Huggins, man.
Oh yes, my brother. Bethel Worship Center. That's the church that broadcasts every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Jackie Vibes Radio.
And I want to thank some of the fans who helped me. And musician Eddie Bullen was one of the guys.
Oh yeah.
When I got into radio, man, I said, Eddie, I just got a station, a show. Can you send me some artists? And no problem. Boom. Guy give me a whole slew of artists to call up and interview. And every time I used to bring him to Radio Region, every year for an interview, he had no problem. Coming down, and the love, Jerome Tucker was one of the cats. Keisha Wint, Call It Easy. All these great artists, so many to mention, man. It's Wolf Milestone. The list goes on, and some of the cats in the states, L.A. Blacksmith from the Crown Heights Affair, Skip Bordley. The list just goes on. I could spend all day doing this, but man, keep up the good work. We're going to continue that hard work, Jackie, to build the best station on the planet. We're already there. It's just an incredible event, and thank you for taking the time. Thank you for your correspondence. Thank you for taking the time to join Cool Breeze on Jackie Vibes broadcast facilities in Toronto. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your perspective. Ring the bell, according to Network Rhythm and Brother Resistance.
Okay, so before we close, we're going to give, because we did not give out the number. The telephone number, one of the numbers where you can contact me on the station is 647 785 4771, 647 720 4206.
Yes.
And Curtis can give his number also.
Thank you. Enough love and God bless. Thank you, fans, everybody.
Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell.